very good morning to all my dear students. Hope you are all well and fine at your home and you have done well in your exams too. Students, now we are starting with our new term, that is half yearly. The chapters which are included in half yearly exams are Chapter 3, Colonialism and Tribal Societies. Chapter 5, The Revolt of 1857. Chapter 14, Agriculture. Chapter 15, Agriculture, Major Crops and Case Studies. And Chapter 22, Parliamentary Government. The repeated chapters from PT1 are Chapter number 2, The Rise and Growth of the British Power. Chapter number 12, Resources. And Chapter number 21, Salient Features of the Indian Constitution. This also we are going to study now in half-yearly exam, which we have left in PT1. So now we will start with our new chapter, Colonialism and Tribal Societies. Chapter 3, Colonialism and Tribal Societies. So students, what is colonialism? Colonialism means when any powerful country tries to control another country or another small weaker countries, that is called the word colonialism. And what is the meaning of the word tribal? Tribal here means collectively tribal people, they are called as Adivasis. Adivasis. So we are going to start a new chapter. Tribal people always live together in groups or communities. So tribal peoples, they are basically they are devoid of modern lifestyle. They are living in jungles or they are living in the forest. Yes, and they live together. Their life was fully dependent on nature, but they are very careful in order to exploit the nature. Whatever the necessities are there to lead a life, it is totally dependent on nature, but it doesn't mean that they exploit the nature. They don't exploit the nature. They are very careful. As you have already studied, over the last 2 years, India has a very few population of tribal people. Now, population is very low of tribal people. These tribals are called Adivasis. They own land collectively. So, as you can see in villages that every person is having their own land. But whatever the land is there for Adivasis, they own collectively. Means one land is there and many people, they worked on that same land. See, this is the picture of tribal people. Yes. During the mid of the medieval period in India, tribal societies had begun to form their kingdoms, some of which became powerful, like the Gond kingdoms of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. So slowly these tribal people, they converted into kingdoms, and the two important kingdoms were Gond kingdoms of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Students, do you know the capital of Madhya Pradesh? Yes, it is Bhopal. And the capital of Chhattisgarh? Yes, it is Raipur. However, a lot of Adivasis continue to live deep inside forests, practicing subsistence farming or herding. So, as you know that they are completely living in the dense forest, and what they are performing, they do subsistence farming. What is subsistence farming? It is that farming which is done only for their requirement. Means whatever crops the farmers they are growing, it is for their requirements only for their needs. They don't sell in the market. It is for them. They use those crops for them only. That is called as subsistence farming. And the other work they do as herding. Herding means rearing livestock. The Mughals left them largely undisturbed, as long as the Adivasis paid a nominal amount of money to show their allegiance to them. So when Mughals were ruling over India, so these Adivasis were also there at that time, and these Mughal people, they make them undisturbed, and as long as Adivasis, they paid a amount to them, they get a support from Mughals. So allegiance here means support. Growth of commercial crops. Commercial crops such as indigo, tea and coffee were grown largely by foreigners to earn more money. The foreigners owned these crops. They treated with the workers as their slaves. As you know, during the time of British India, the Britishers, they exploit the farmers of our country. Yes, they considered them as slaves. And these Britishers, they were forced they forced the farmers to grow the crops like indigo, tea and coffee. Indigo here means it is a dye which is used for making blue jeans. Jeans which we wear, that is blue. So that dye is used for making that blue jeans. That is called indigo, a dye. They treated with the workers as their slaves. So workers which are working under the Britishers, they were considered as slaves. They exploit them very badly. The peasants were beaten with sticks brutally when they refused to sow indigo. Finally, non-cultivation of indigo movement was spread to many districts of Bengal. So what happened? The peasants of India, the Indian peasants, they refused to grow indigo, and this resulted as indigo movement. What was indigo movement? It was a peasant movement by Indian farmers. In this, they refused to grow the indigo, and it was started in Bengal. The Gujarati and Marwari moneylenders exploited the situation of their pitiable state against heavy land revenue. Similar movements were also launched in Bengal and Assam. So many movements were launched in Bengal and Assam by the farmers, by the peasants, against paying the heavy land revenue. Means they were not in favor of paying the heavy land revenue. In Assam, the peasants in the Rohitwadi areas organized themselves into mass assemblies and undertook non-payment of revenue. So many people, many peasants, they joined themselves in the Rohitwadi areas. What is Rohitwadi? Rohitwadi, it is a land revenue system which was started by Governor General Thomas Munro in 1820. And under this system, the land revenue was paid by the farmers directly to the state. So means the farmers, they were forced to pay the land revenue. So the peasants, they were against this Rohitwadi. So whatever the areas which were following the Rohitwadi system, in that mass assemblies were organized by the farmers against this system. Did you know tea, coffee and indigo are called plantation crops, and these crops are grown in hilly areas. Change in life of tribals after colonialism. So when colonialism ended, means when Britishers' rule was totally finished, what was the impact on India? Under the colonialism, forest land was destroyed by the British. The political, economic and social life of the tribals were completely affected. So till when Britishers were there, they completely destroyed every part of India, every area. Yes, but when they gone from India, slowly there were changes. Yes. Now political impact. The tribal chiefs were deprived of their independence, authority and administrative powers. They wanted to retain their lands and titles but had to follow the British rules and laws. So the tribal chiefs were there. They were working under the Britishers only. They cannot do anything independently. They have to follow the rules and regulations which were given by the Britishers. The joint ownership of land among the tribals was disrupted. Means earlier you see here that the tribal people, they own the land collectively. But now this joint ownership of land was completely stopped under the British rule. As a result, there were tensions and conflicts among the tribal societies. The chiefs were forced to pay tribute to the British officials and also train their men according to their requirements. So everything was going under the rules and regulations of the Britishers because they wanted their own profit. They were not thinking about the profits of the tribal people. So this was the political impact of Britishers under India, means British colonialism. Students, tomorrow we will study about the economic impact of Britishers over India. So till then, read the chapter very carefully and meet you in the next tutorial. Till then, have a good day.